Suwaya tola yetam langbai. Suwaya tola yetam boko. Suwaya tola yetam kala. Suwaya tola yetam difei. Anyim difaswa ngamas fry. Unko birko no to no alayang. That is with the time for say we not join this society for jealousy, for enviness, for property, for money. We not join am for woman then. We not join am for property for say, hey, why they go fight for that get money? I know they join am because they don't take the property. But we dey fight the one way they kill for we. The one way they born with property, then lose them. Now they will fight. Now we don't mean in that.
During the massacre conflict that gripped Sierra Leone from 1991 to 2002, the established army faltered, even switching sides to join rebel forces like the RUF. The force entrusted to protect citizens became a thorn in their flesh instead. To fill the vacuum, communities seeking defense along with the elected government of Ahmad Tijan Kaba turned to civilian militias. The government, seeking structure and national unity, brought these disparate groups, Mende Kamajors, Temne Betis and Kapras, Konodonsos, Koranko Tamaboro, under the umbrella of the Civil Defense Forces, CDF. Their rise was also political. Following the 1996 election of the SLPP, which drew heavily from the Mende population, the CDF, under figures like Deputy Minister of Defense, Sam Hinga Norman, became seen as the party's de facto security wing. They played key role alongside ECOMOG in reinstating President Kaba after the 1997 military coup. Armed often with traditional hunting rifles, amulets and colorful fetishes, groups like the Kamajors gained prominence for mystical powers used against the enemy.
We are the Kamajors. We actually came out from the act from the Almighty Allah. It's a gifted something which I could not tell you much about it because I don't know of it. I am working with a spiritual something I don't know, but I believe in it and I believe in God.
They believed rituals and loyalty to strict rules, no alcohol, no sex, never turning back during an operation, rendered them immune to bullets. These beliefs, coupled with their knowledge of the bush, made them valuable in attempting to restore order. At one point, ECOMOG and CDF support claimed control over 80% of the country. The war is over, but the memories and the men who fought remain. I recently had the opportunity to speak with a former CDF ex-combatant who fought as a Beti warrior. He now lives a quiet life, practicing as a traditional herbal healer.
For their heavy artilleries.
This protected us from heavy artilleries like RPGs. The controller that was like a horn made the bullets reverse.
Times you go take and say, "Na me the fire." You go see them fire, but the bullets no they come. Inside 1993, 94, we can see the country not be stable.
In 1993 to 1994, the entire country was not stable. The country experienced so much coups. The soldiers and security forces whom we trusted to protect us and defend the democracy were power-thirsty, and some joined the rebels. So there was no one to protect the citizens. We were running away from the rebels and the soldiers as well. This is why some of us, the hunters, joined forces to protect our communities.
Oh, we some of the hunters, Kaprazin, can say come together, say waiting for do. So we begin defend we areas.
The need for healing and the ways the past is remembered or neglected is quite visible right here in Freetown. There is a bridge named in recognition of these fighters, the Kamajor Bridge.
Where I am standing now once stood the Kamajor Bridge here in Waterloo, but now it has been replaced by buildings that have turned the area into an eyesore and a dump site. More than just the crossing, the Kamajor Bridge served as a powerful symbol during the Sierra Leone Civil War, where hundreds of Kamajors were ambushed and brutally killed by the Revolutionary United Front.
But what led to mass atrocities against the group that was supposedly immune to artilleries?
Before January 6, the Kamajors started in our western area for can defend.
Before January 6, the Kamajors were based in the western area to defend, but the rebels had many tactics. Some of them were based here in Waterloo, Juwe, and Grafton. They used the ABB road to bypass. They climbed the mountains and based themselves there. Unbeknownst to the Kamajors, the rebels hit Freetown on January 6. The government called the foreign troops and ECOMOG for military assistance. When tensions escalated on January 6, most of the Kamajors decided they would return to their homes to defend their territories because the western area had foreign military support, including some CDF members, the Beatties. The Kamajors formed a battalion to return. They decided to use Waterloo as a shortcut to reach Makolo and then cross at Mabang Bridge. By then, the rebels had already set an ambush here at Banga Farm, Grey Bridge that is now called Kamajor Bridge. When they advanced, they fell into the trap of the rebels. It was a great catastrophe. We do not know the number of Kamajor warriors that were killed, but it was estimated at around 500 of them.
That's all, but we're not going to know the kind number we suffer na Kamajor Bridge.
The CDF positioned itself to fight for the people and democracy. However, the TRC report's findings reveal that both the CDF and the RUF accounted for most of the forced cannibalism violations. Nonetheless, Volume 2, Chapter 4 of the TRC report recommends national war memorials across the country to aid remembrance and reconciliation, acknowledging the suffering of all victims. The Kamajor Bridge, which should serve as a memorial, is instead largely overlooked, sadly becoming a dumping ground for waste, with houses being erected on top of it. A potential symbol, perhaps, of a history that has not been fully reconciled. This story is brought to you with support from the African Transitional Justice Legacy Fund through the Media Reform Coordinating Group under the project Engaging Media and Communities to Change the Narrative on Transitional Justice Issues in Sierra Leone. Memona Tusuma, AYV News, Freetown.